We're here in a parking lot of this giant store because, sit, it was hard enough for her. Just show, pan to your left, there are people around and loading up cars and stuff like that. There's this one guy at least right now. In the beginning, I couldn't even bring her here. She was so shy and skittish and scared. She couldn't even do a sit stay or anything. She was too scared, so I knew I had to stabilize her and wait for a couple weeks and bring her back. But now, at least she's able to be fairly calm here and stay in a sit stay. You notice how I'll do it again. Okay, that's how I release her to walk with her, and I'm gonna show you how I do a sit. Sit, you never repeat the command. In a stressful place like this, you'll probably have to help her. The way to do it is just a little bit of attention as you say sit, and then release it as soon as her butt hits the ground. You're not jerking, popping, hanging. If she pops up before you release her, like this stuff would drive her nuts before, but she's doing pretty well. If she pops up before you release her, you say no. Okay, let's say she made a mistake. She popped up, you say no. You reset her just like that, and you gently but firmly put her back. And she has to wait there until you come back next to her and pat her chest and say go, and that would mean she's free. But you can also, in a difficult situation like this, not all sits, but whenever she's doing a sit stay where it's not easy for her to do, give her a reward. Good. See how I did that? You have eye contact, you reward her straight down like that. You don't go like this. You are going to reward her straight down when she's staring you in the eyes. And I'll do that only. I'm not going to reward her for every sit she does because she does it all the time. She does it well. So I phase the treats out for most of that. But if she's doing something exceptional where she couldn't do it before, that's an occasion for a treat because she'll always remember why she got the treat, and it'll help her stay calmer in these difficult situations. Go. See how I released her, patted her chest and said go, and she's free. Okay, let's go. If I want to have her practice down, especially in an odd place where I've never practiced before, in the presence of distractions, show him right there. He's still here loading up. But it helps us to have things going on close to us. There's the forklift and all that going on there, other people walking around. So this is something she didn't used to be able to do. But you saw when I said down, at the same moment I eased her down with my left foot with the leash. It's really important that you don't say it, she ignores you, and then you force her down. We know that in a stressful situation, she's a little bit cut off, like she's a little bit unfocused. Cars going past too, that's really good skill that she has now. She can handle distractions like that. And she's a little bit unfocused, so she needs help in stressful situations. We have a big distraction coming past. Notice how I'm going to give her treats. Now she stayed in a down, but she almost popped up, but I gave her some rewards. You desensitize with food that way. When a distraction is approaching, she can keep it together and keep focused. Like there's a cart right there, show that cart. There's a car coming. Before it actually shows up, we're gonna have her munching out on a high value reward like chicken breast or something like that. And that enables her to handle it as it passes by. If you wait till it's right there and she's already nervous and you try to give her food, it's too late. That's why you wanna spot the distractions approaching, ideally right before she sees them, get her munching on her high value reward, never restraining her, never holding her there, because that would not be her making the choice to stay there, but that keeps her calm enough and allows her to handle that distraction passing by or approaching. That downstay, I think that I finished that thought of you don't want to get stuck in, this might be tough, this car's coming really close to us, so got the reward, I got some chicken breast. She's really good with chicken breast. She loves chicken breast, and I use it only for high value rewards in the presence of difficult situations like that, when I want her to stay in a sit stay or down stay. But I think my point, going back a couple of minutes now, was that you don't want to get stuck in that pattern where you give her a command, she ignores you and you force her down. Because you'll get stuck in that pattern forever. You'll never get past that. But if you say, you know she's not quite there yet, good. They're throwing a lot of distractions at us. This is good. This is really good. You know that she's not quite solid, especially out in a kind of a scary place for her like this. Just do everything at the same moment. Down. And that enables you to later on not have to do this part, because all she knows is she hears the command, she goes down immediately. So do it that way and it'll really help you a lot. She's really doing well. I'm going to release her before she makes a mistake. Okay. Sit. This is the way you release her from a downstay, and go. Just like you do on the mat. And the mat exercise, as I told you in the mat exercise clip, practicing that in my yard for 3 weeks, and then finally taking her skills, her new skills, out into public, is what doing that mat and everything I did in the yard there enabled her to start being able to handle real life situations like this. So keep doing the mat and keep practicing a downstay like this. Just once a day in a new place would be really good. Or if you find a place that it's difficult for her to do it in, just practice there until she gets it right, and then start practicing in another corner or another spot on the sidewalk or your yard or wherever, and pretty soon you'll have 4, 5, 6 different places where she can do it perfectly, and you'll see she'll start being able to do it just about anywhere. Okay, let's go. Okay. Sit. So we always have her sit at the front door before we go in. You'll always step through the boundary first to accentuate the fact that this is your boundary, not hers. So she's not pulling you through, she's not rushing after you, she's waiting till you come back. We have some flies flying around here. And then she waits till you come back next to her, you say, okay. She walks in with you without pulling. I'm just going to do a little left circle and come right back to show you how we take her out as well. First, we're going to close the door, have her sit, and then we're going to open the door. It's much harder for a dog to learn how to stay seated when the door is opening, so I always have her sit first before I open the door. And you may not be able to see her because of the shadow here. Okay, sit. So I'm going to have her sit closer to the threshold so you can see she's sitting waiting. I'm stepping out. We also have a couple of little dogs right there behind us barking at her, so it makes it harder for her to focus, but she's doing very well. She waits till you come back. Okay. See how she walks through slowly with me? If she doesn't, you can just tap her like that, and sometimes you'll have to go very slowly through the threshold, because if you rush, she's going to rush. If you slow down and tap, she will slow down as well. If you're letting her be free out in the yard, you're going to want to close this door, so you can just do a little left turn if you're by yourself. Close that door, have her sit, and then go, and she's free. Or if you're taking her for a walk, like we're about to do, we're going to walk her through the yard to the gateway and do another boundary routine going out onto the street, which you'll see in a minute. Sit. Having her sit before I open the gate. Always keep this leash loose. You're never restraining her. If you hold on tight to that leash, it will cause stress and anxiety in her, and as soon as you let go, she'll be up and she'll be moving away from you. So you always keep a loose leash, you never restrain her. See, I had her sit, I stepped out, she waited for me to come back. Okay. And see that whole thing about slowing down at the threshold? If you have a dog that's really pulling a lot, you slow down and you practice walking through slowly for a while, and later on you really don't have to do much because they just get used to always doing it that way, and then they start just doing it on their own, being slow, not rushing. Sit. So here we've gone out onto the street. We went through my front door, walked through the yard in leash walking mode where she's next to me, not pulling. Stopped at the gate, did that thing. Now we're out here at the sidewalk, and I'm going to release her to be free. Go. Now she's free, and we start the walk. If you always start the walk this way, it just takes you a minute or two, depending on your situation, your layout of your house. But when you get out on the street, she's much more in the zone, And so if you see her, if she sees another dog, come. I don't know what's there, but it's something stinky. You want to call her away from things. Good. And see, that was worst case scenario. She caught me by surprise. She rolled in something. She got the leash tangled up. And so I couldn't really back away because I would have tripped her or pulled on a leash. And so I just stood still and she came to me. The only reason that she's coming to me now when I stand still is because whenever I practice a come command, it's like this. Come! And I back away, which makes her, good, come to me very quickly. So when you're practicing the come command, always make sure you back away. And we'll just show you the come command right now since we're talking about it. Left hand leash when you're walking her, and when you're practicing the come command, right hand reward. There's no reason to hold the leash with your other hand or do any of this. There's no reason to now, because your biggest enemy really is a tight leash, and restraining her causes stress in a dog. So out on the street, the tight leash can cause aggression with other animals, or which she kind of has with other dogs, but it can get worse over time if you don't start having just a loose leash, which we've had the whole time. And also the tight leash makes her want to pull. If you tighten up, she's going to pull away from you. But if you keep it loose and you practice your recall a lot, which is just like a tap, come, like this, good. And you practice it every couple of minutes throughout the walk. Sit, go. Most of the walk is going to be on free time like this. It's just left hand leash. And if you have to tap the leash, you can just tap it and that'll stop her from pulling. And you can also call her back to you every time. The reason she's so easy to handle is because I've practiced calling her to come to me many, many times in this last month or so. And she's just really used to just doing this with me. This is just what she does when she's out on the street with me. And every time you call her back to come to you, it just draws her closer and closer to you. And you'll see, she'll start kind of hanging out around you while you're walking closer, because you're always calling her back to you, and instead of what she did before, which is just pull like a sled dog or something. So that's one of the many benefits of practicing this recall a lot. Is left hand leash, right hand reward. Make sure you call her to this target. Come. Good. Your left hand grabs the leash when she comes to you, so you can have her. Make sure that you have control of her when she comes to you, because a lot of dogs will learn that they can just grab the treat and then run off again. So if she's not on a leash for some reason, hook your hand under this collar. But always make sure that she's used to that part of it. The right hand opens, gives her the treat, you say good at the same moment, and the other hand grabs the leash or collar. Just all simultaneous. And this is the way you do it every time, no matter what the situation. Always back away, come, because when you back away, it makes the dog run to you. Good. So I always suggest people practicing, if you have a yard, practice in your front yard, practice in your house first where there are no distractions, get a feel for this, for what I'm doing right here, and help her get a feel for doing it with you, getting used to doing it with you. I've, of course, called her to come to me hundreds of times now, and so she's very used to it. It won't take that many times for her to get used to doing it with you, because she already knows how to do it, but it might take a week or so of practicing this every day to really get it down to where she's used to doing this with you, and you're comfortable with this, and then start taking her out into public. Once everything's good with no distractions, start taking her to places where there are increasing levels of distractions. But keep it simple. Start really easy. Try to have a bunch of successes. You see another dog on the street, try to call her away from a dog from a long distance, and start there and work your way up to the harder stuff over time. We're about to be surprised by a dog. Orion has no idea that there are dogs coming out of this gate, or at least one dog. And then I'll show you what we do when we see a dog on the street. We're just on a leisurely walk here. Orion has no idea. Come on out. She's just gonna look up and see this dog, and I'll show you how she is and what we do. So she'll look up, come. I'm not gonna wait for her to get excited, and I'm not gonna wait for her to pull and bark and cause a scene. As soon as she sees a dog like that, she's looking, come. I'm going to call her away. Good. She's never seen this dog before, and we've actually never practiced this. Come, in this spot before. Good. So it's completely fresh, new behavior. See how she is? Come, she's staring. I'll tell you that staring leads to aggression, and staring and choking up and causes stress in the dog. Staring plus leash tension create aggression in a dog like her. Come. See how she wants to run over there? That's not a good thing. But you have the system now to use the come command to get her away from that dog and get her out of there. Come. And you'll see that after calling her away multiple times, her interest in this dog starts to wane. Come. Become less and less. Good. And maybe it's little dogs that are more than big dogs. So watch what she does. Good. That's when you know that it's starting to work. Maybe that was 6 or 8 times that I called her away. She was really interested, but I didn't let it go too far. I implemented the new system, which is to use the training, use the come command to call her away from a distraction. And I made myself relevant as opposed to just a valet that she's pulling around on the street that's irrelevant. Every time I called her back to me, I reminded her, hey, everything leads to me. I'm the center of the universe, basically, and we keep practicing this pattern here where I call her away from dogs, cats, people, bicyclists, come, all that kind of stuff, and she just starts to automatically turn away. Before, what we had was some pretty intense leash aggression with dogs on the street. Come. And now, and of course, what we're doing now is what you won't do in real life. You'll just call her away a couple times, and one of you will go around the outside of a car, the other one will keep going, or vice versa. You'll cross the street. Just call her away and keep going, and don't stand there. This would be extra hard to do at first. I can handle it, and you see she's losing interest and the dog is right there, but you should sort of work your way up to doing what I'm doing here, where you just stay near a dog and, you know, don't get her out of there. But let's say I'm you. Oh, this dog is right there, I didn't see it. Come, you call her away. Good. You know how you do the come command, right hand reward, left hand leash, take the leash in your hand. And we go this way, and we go on the outside of this car to pass by. Or it's like this. Go look at that dog. Look. Now she doesn't care about the dog anymore. Come. Call her around, away from her, so something is blocking her line of sight of that dog or whatever it is that she's interested in. And just call her, behind a wall, a car, a tree, whatever you have available to you. So just make sure that you are, because of her little issue, which is not as bad as it used to be, obviously, but just make sure that when you're out walking that you are very good girl. She turned away, she stared at the dog, decided to turn away to me. She gets paid for that. Make sure you're super vigilant, because when you go out on a walk with her, this is your opportunity to continue to chip away at this problem that she came here with. And a problem just doesn't go away like this in a few weeks of practice. So that's why we're making the videos, to show you what she's doing. She got distracted by something else over there. I'm out of treats, but she's turning away on her own. Good girl, I'm gonna love her up. If I run out of treats, you run out of treats, love her up, give her extra attention. You notice that I say good every time I give her a treat. Well, when you say good now and love her up, it's almost as if she's getting a treat. She's just so used to connecting the reward to the word good because of the timing. Immediately good, the moment she gets it, that you can say good and pet her and love her up, and it's pretty much the same as getting a treat. She loves that. And you see how after just a few minutes, she doesn't care about this distraction anymore. But remember, going out into public is your opportunity to change her, so you're actually cruising for distractions, and you're going to do exactly what I'm doing here, and she will continue to get better and care less and less about other dogs on the street. Okay. Show the dog coming from across the street too. Okay, show the dog. Come. So I'm calling her away from this dog that just kind of showed up on us and surprised her definitely. This is a big dog. I just wanted to show you her with a big dog. Come. We showed you with a little dog, and now it's with a big dog. Sometimes they're better or worse with different sized dogs. But this is actually, come. See how she wants to go over there, but now you have the commands to go up against her unwanted behavior that she has had. And if you continue to use them like this, you see how they just sort of, they counteract that inappropriate response to seeing another dog and sort of nullify it, because then she just kind of wants to look my way and get rewards. You always reward her when she's turned away from the distraction, okay? And lead her away. And you'll see this keeps getting easier to deal with as you do exactly what we've been doing here. We always lead Orion up to the person that we're going to introduce her to. We have her sit, and maybe it's going to be 8 or 10 feet away. We step away, give the person a treat. She waits till we go back. I pat her chest with my right hand and say, go say hi. She goes, gets the treat, gets petted, no jumping. Come. I call her back to come. Good. And we do this every day, so she's very good at it. Sit. She knows that I'm about to call her back to me, so she'll actually start to come back to me before I even call her to. Back to me. Go say hi. You see there's no jumping. And in this case, you should grab the leash like that so she doesn't come running right back to me. Come. Very good. So we get to practice our sit, stay, our go command, our come command, sit. And we also get to practice with her, and every time we do this exercise, it shows her not to jump. She gets more and more used to this new way of practicing going to people, greeting them, and not jumping. Go say hi. Come. Good girl. See how she wants to come back to me? So you really want that, because it's the opposite of what she was doing before. Instead of jumping on people and being out of hand, and she could possibly even knock somebody down that was not expecting it, she's turning around, running right back to you. So you have the opposite of what you had before. She's not jumping, she's not being obnoxious. And this greeting routine, if you keep doing it with people, and do it with people you know, and with people you don't know, and just whoever you can practice with, at least try to do it once a day for a while, for that first month, she'll just have this routine in so deeply that she just won't jump anymore, and you'll see. Just make sure that people are down there with something good. They're down there with a treat, they're down there with their hands. There's no reason for her to jump, and if she does jump, it's nope. They need to not correct her and not touch her, not push her down, because that would make her want to do more jumping. So the message to her is all the attention stops if you do that inappropriate behavior. Okay. And then if you stay on all fours, that's when all the good stuff happens. You get the treat and you get petted. And also, if she starts to jump, you always have your come command as well. So you call her right back to you, get her out of there. Sit. Always have her sit before you put her on the mat. Make sure you're not restraining her ever. It's just always a loose leash. If she gets up or tries to go over before you allow her to, just do a little tap and say no, just like that. See, she really wants to go to her mat. She loves playing this game. In her mind, this is a game. So she waits until you pat her chest with your right hand and say, go to your mat, and then walk her over and say down. Right here. There you go. And you might have to stand on the leash. What we have here is we have a bunch of flies everywhere. So she's kind of reacting to the insects. We're right next to a horse area, so we always have flies here because of the horses down the street. So all I did there was I walked around her, she stayed there, and I'm going to give her a reward. The way that you give her the reward, no, is very important. Good. She has to wait until you place it there and withdraw. She's not supposed to be grabbing it out of your hand, nosing your hand, trying to get to it. What we want is we want her to be focused, polite, respectful, and non-reactive. So this is part of the game where, nope. See how she touched my hand? You pull back and say no. Nope. Good. Now, she used to turn a lot, and now she's kind of turning away less and less. And if you keep practicing this, she'll just sit there like that and wait until you withdraw. And that means that she's becoming more and more focused. See how I swing in from in front? Good. I don't come like this, because you'll make her pop up if you kind of tease her like this or extend your body like this. Just be kind of normal and just walk up, swing in with the treat, and it's really easy to pull back if you have to. Good. See how she's really getting that now? It's that calm, focused delivery of the reward that helps her calm down as well. And then we're just right now practicing a basic downstay where she stays there. She accepts me walking around both ways around her. She gets one last reward for that, and we'll try something new. Good. Say good when she takes the treat. So you might have to stand there because we don't want this obscuring the camera view. See how she got up? No. If she makes a mistake and pops up, you just say no. And gently but firmly put her back. Let's try it again. It's just a little leash, pulling on the leash. This time, she gets it. And so I'm going to reward her. Nope. Nope. Good. And try it one last time. Nope. Good. Every dog that comes here always pops up at first and wants to come over to me when I pull on the leash when they first get here, and then we practice this, and they learn that that does not mean to leave a downstay, because she only leaves a downstay in one way. That's when you go back and release her in a very specific way. So we're just kind of testing her, and we're showing her that it doesn't matter what I do, where I go. Now I'm going to go over here. I'm going to try to make her make another mistake. She stays there until I release her, period, end of story. Nope. So this yard is one of her main yards, and she gets very excited when people come and go through that gate. So I was using that as a way to test her. No. And so she actually put herself back, which was really good. So all I'm going to do is just put her back and try it again. If you're ever practicing with her in a way that you're doing something that distracts her and she can't focus and stay in a downstay, she makes a mistake, it's okay to remind her what you want her to keep doing. So I'm going to say down, just to remind her. Opening this again. No. And then when she makes a mistake, you say no. I'm just going to stand on that leash, put her back. Notice there is no stay. We don't say stay. Down means to stay until she's released, so you don't have to say that command over and over again. Down, just a reminder in the beginning. That opens. Let's do it again. So now she gets it. The flies are bugging her. It's hot and muggy here today, so the insects are all out today. No, that really wasn't her fault because the flies popped up. Now she's getting frustrated. This is one of her old tricks of rolling on her side, but I don't reward that. And see how she righted herself again. Let's try it one more time. Down. So she stayed there. She's going to get a big reward because this is tough for her. She's going to get a big reward. Nope. Make sure she really waits. No. This was likely to happen to you. Just make sure she's really there before you reward her, and make sure she's calm. Good. She waits to calmly receive the reward. If it weren't for the insects, she would have done much better. But this is real life, so who knows what will happen when you're practicing with her. And this is outside, so if you're inside, like opening your front door, like I was opening the gate, you see exactly what to do if she pops up, if she can't handle that. And then I always end with just kind of the way that I started with the downstay, one last reward. Good. And then this is the only way she leaves the mat. You come back next to her. Okay. You say okay, you walk her off the mat, you have her sit, and then you release her from a calm sit stay. This leash is always loose. Go. Release her to be free. Always pick up this mat because she's going to want to go and hang out on it. It's not a doggy bed. It's only for this exercise, specifically for this. You put her on it just the way I did. You take her off just the way you saw me do it. She never has an opportunity to go hang out on it. You put it down right before you do it. You go get her, you put her on, take her off, and put her away. It's much more powerful if she only practices one behavior on this mat, the downstay. You'll see you start having downstays because you'll be practicing it without the mat. But the mat enables her to do the downstays in real life, out in public, for example, much better because of the way you practice it in your yard or at home with the mat. So that's why this mat exercise is so important. Okay, let's go.